I don't know
Jalen
who else.
Hurts.
Up 6 with 2 minutes left,
Yeah.
man. You got to think they can hold on to this one.
I don't know who else will pick up. I don't know if we'll draft or
That's
get somebody else.
Bring back Nick Foles.
How was that a foul?
Nah, I'm good.
Jalen Hurts.
Up 6 with 2 minutes left, man. And she fell. That's a wall.
Yeah. Where's the foul there?
How much they winning by?
They're up 6 with a
6.
minute 58 left.
Okay.
This would easily be their biggest win under Harper.
Under Harper, it really would.
I mean, South Carolina's number 2 team in the country.
They said they've won 31 straight in the SEC.
Renai Davis has 20 in the second half alone.
Woo! Did y'all see that mock draft with Springer 7th and Keon Johnson 9th?
Yeah.
2 lottery picks, huh? I'll take it.
We've come a long way.
Yeah, we're not used to this freshman leaving early thing.
Oh, good Lord. And there's a turnover. Don't know how that wasn't a
That was a foul.
And, of course, they get it on the freaking jump.
Did they call a jump ball?
Mm-hmm.
Good, that's our ball.
She walked before she ever threw it. Let's see. Garbage.
Bro, I didn't know that. I just found out today Gus Malzahn went to UCF.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I was like, damn. It's not a bad hire for him.
No.
Gus Bus.
The Gus bus. Old Gus boy.
Would y'all have liked him as our coach?
He was like
No.
middle of the pack for me. Yeah, I wouldn't have
I
hated
agree.
it, but I wouldn't have loved it. I think Heupel gives more excitement than he does. Than Gus would have. I feel like with Gus, we would have
Big miss.
consistently been 7-5 probably.
It looks like the guys are really buying into Heupel. I know it's just Twitter videos, but
Still, though, it's more than we saw under the last guy,
under Gump.
Mr. Gump.
What's the latest on Crouch?
I think
He's
he's
on
taking
campus.
classes, yeah, but who knows?
Yeah.
All right,
That
we'll
would be
start.
big time. Put a couple of the Whitehaven trio in with Crouch. That'd be a formidable linebacker trio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, big layup. Big layup.
Horston didn't start tonight.
All right, we'll start with basketball, guys, and then we'll watch this. This is right. Well, let me put it on my TV too, so I can see what's going on. Then we'll start. How much time's left?
55 seconds.
Maybe it'll turn on by then.
Hey, did anybody get power back? I assume. Well, yeah, everybody's got lights on, so that's good.
Yep.
And, I was watching this game right before a half, and they were playing terrible. And I looked at my dad, and I said, they're freaking awful. And then the next thing I know, they're down 1 heading into the fourth. I was like, okay, maybe I just need to start bashing every single Tennessee team. And then they start playing.
You got to talk a little shit. That's all.
I mean, for real, though. Last night with Bailey, It never worked with JG though. I said some really dirty things about JG.
There's not enough shit you can talk in the world to make that boy play good football.
Hit the second one. 7-point lead with 51 left.
Yeah.
Game.
All right. I heard something about JG.
I was saying that I was watching the game tonight. Like right before half, they were down like 12. And I told my dad, it's like they're freaking awful, whatever. Then the next thing I knew, they were down 1 heading into the fourth. So I thought, okay, maybe I just need to start bashing every team because I bashed Bailey last night and he went off, but it never worked for JG.
I think our whole crew did. Yeah, no, JG, you couldn't. Jesus.
There's not enough reverse psychology in the world for that.
No.
You just exhale very heavily. Just, oh, my God.
Then we turned it right back over.
Oh!
Had a breakaway layup.
All right, we'll start basketball. Then we'll go just quick, whatever this game winds up being. I will say win, knock on wood, but it looks decent right now. Maybe some hope.
Hey, did we ever hear anything on JJJ's injury / COVID or anything? What is it?
Sprained wrist, I think, was what the official was.
Yeah, I figured it wasn't COVID, considering he was standing right behind Barnes the whole game. So
no. Somebody said he was in a knee brace before the game, but everything I've seen says wrist. Now maybe he had something tweaked or something. I don't know. You can never tell. We'll go basketball, then we'll go staff. Baseball tomorrow. Is there anything else I'm missing?
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay. All right, 3, 2. What's up, guys? We're live with episode 8, the Checkerboard Check-In. With the usuals tonight. Got D. Scott back tonight. He is not aiming for deer tonight. That's confirmed. I can see his hands. I can see him. He is not aiming for deer.
We're good.
Must mean he must not have hit any. But
we're good.
We got D. Scott, Keenan, Murphy, Sawyer. Boys, what's going on?
What's up?
What's up?
What's going on, fellas?
Just right off the jump, Lady Vols about to get a big win right here. It looks like. Now, there's about 30 seconds left. I may have just jinxed that. So direct all anger towards me if they do come back and lose this. Which
if they come back and lose, we're kicking the show.
Hand up. I'll take it. Wait, 7 big free throws. Okay, might be good. Maybe exciting radio live recap of TV. But we got Lady Vols. We got basketball from last night. Big win over South Carolina. Almost 2 big wins over South Carolina. We'll get into staff hires. I believe all of our locks of the week hit, didn't they? About staff being in place. Very, very close.
Yeah, I think my lock came through. A big old Tim Banks.
Yeah.
Love it.
I mean, we'll get into it. It wasn't not full staff yet, but I mean, you're starting to get a good picture of. I think we've got 1 position, possibly 2, just depending on how if Tim Banks is calling the shots, which I hope he is, since it's his side of the ball. We'll get into that, just what it's going to look like, what the defense is going to look like. Ty Simpson, that's the big one. Delayed his announcement. We'll get into that as well. Doesn't seem like it's anything serious. I think it's just weather related, but we'll get into that. And then we've got the baseballs to end the show too, starting the season off tomorrow. Very excited about that. But if there's nothing else I'm missing, we'll get into it. Lady Vols just went final. I did not jinx it. D. Scott, screw you.
Saying, I just had to throw that in there. If they lost, you're gone.
Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not leaving. That's me right now.
That's absolutely massive for Kelly Harper, though.
Yeah.
Biggest win of her career?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Since you've been
Okay.
in Knoxville coaching, yes, sir. 100%.
What I figured, but I just never get to follow the Lady Vols as close as I want to. But yeah, that's any. I mean, South Carolina's normally a power every year, aren't they? I mean, it's them, UConn.
Yeah.
Is Baylor still solid? There's
I think
Stanford.
they're good, but I don't think they're what they were a few years ago. Stanford's still really good too.
Who was Baylor's old coach? Muffet McGraw, was that her
Muffet
name?
McGraw,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a big win then. I mean, good week for basketball so far. Now we've
Yeah.
got another test Saturday, and we'll go ahead and get into it. I mean, do we ever know what we're going to get out of this team, out of
No.
men's basketball?
Absolutely not. And I mean, as much as 7 threes from Victor Bailey helps, you can't count on that every game at all. And you still have to, Fulkerson looked a lot more like himself in this game. He really did. He was a presence. He made him, he stayed out of foul trouble, which is his main thing. And he made himself a presence. But I thought, the shooting made up for the fact that, you don't have Josiah Jordan James and stuff like that. But you just can't count on that type of shooting the whole time. And I think South Carolina made 7 threes in the first half. The defense has got to be more like the beginning of the year. It has to. And we have a couple games coming up that, might not test us as much. But going into the tournament, you're going to have to find that defense that we had at the beginning of the year. You have to.
And that was a big point I had. We can get into that. It was just my initial thought was, I know they brought up the graphic. It's kind of well known if you've watched them the last few games that they're playing at a faster pace now. I mean, I think I saw the stats somewhere online. They moved from like 300 in offensive efficiency, like up to like mid 100s now. So I mean, you've nearly doubled the rate you were running in terms of plays a game. So when I saw that, I kind of wondered, do you think it's just temporary defensive struggles right now while the offense is kind of humming, or do you think it's my thing was maybe if we're moving up and down the floor faster, maybe guys are just getting tired a little bit. Maybe we're going to have to start subbing in quicker or something like that. Just my thoughts, but what do y'all think?
What worries me is the half-court defense isn't as good. We have to get back to how we were playing half-court, whether that's mixing in a little bit of zone or any, whatever we need to do to get back to limiting possessions. Limiting offensive rebounds is another thing. I know we're not a huge team, but we have to limit offensive rebounds. And I think that and finding our defensive identity are our main things right now. I think the offense will, come if we have the defense to where we're used to being. And that's our identity is defense first, then offense comes from that. And we can't shy away from that. No matter how good the freshmen are, we have to defense first, and then your offense comes from that. And that's our identity. So we'll see.
Anything else?
A lot of the times, and which I've heard a lot of people say it's not possible, but a lot of the times when you see our guys in half court, man to man, they overhelp way too much. And and y'all, I mean, you want to help, you have to understand your help side principles and everything. But I mean, sometimes we're leaving guys like way too much space that we shouldn't be leaving space, and they're knocking down shots, or we have to rush to a closeout. They're driving right by, then somebody else has to help. And that leaves a big open for a wide open dunk, layup, whatever. But
I think we're switching too much. It's a problem with switching. You can't switch off of Vescovi on a 6'8" athletic person. You gotta absolutely match up if the matchups aren't there, then you're going to be in trouble. It's going to be a mismatch, and I think matching up right now, we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it right now.
But I agree with Keenan. Our identity is definitely defense first, and defense can most definitely feed into your offense, because if we're making stops, we can get the ball, get the rebound, get out on the run, transition points. And I know they showed a graphic last night, and I think it said like the first 8 SEC games or whatever, we were averaging like 67, 66 possessions a game. Well, now we're averaging like 75. I mean, that's 9 more possessions because you're getting out and you're running more. I mean, you're just doing things a little different. And I think Barnes even addressed that a little bit, talking about how they're getting out and running more and doing things a little different than normal. But I mean, 100% the defense always comes first when you think of Tennessee basketball, and it has to, because our offense is here one night and then it's gone the next 3. So you just never know. You have to rely on that defense. You're muted, D. Taylor.
There we go. Sorry. I didn't want to take my gulp of water down everybody's ear then. But, yeah, I mean, I think you pretty much summed it up then. I mean, the help defense, but to me, it's denying the ball too. Like it seemed like beginning of this year, every pass the opponent made was just contested. It was suffocating almost. And it's like we just play off more, which maybe that's I mean, I'm not a huge basketball strategy guy. I mean, I defer to y'all more on that, but I wonder if playing off the ball, not contesting every pass as much like that, is maybe to help set up your offense going forward, so you're not guys diving everywhere trying to, which if it helps, so be it. But that's the one thing that stood out to me, is like every pass, no matter where it was in the half court. I mean, if it was back towards the half court line, I mean, beginning of this year, it was like every pass there was somebody right on them. Like it was suffocating. I mean, that was the word announcers I would hear. Our boy Jimmy Dykes, Tom Hart, that was the word everybody described it with. It was just suffocating. And now it just seems, I don't know. I mean, I don't think our defense is bad in any way, but yeah, there's definitely I'm far less worried about that than I am our offense. I mean, it just after one good night, I mean, we've seen, hopefully that doesn't happen Saturday, because we play the always loved Kentucky Wildcats, but I mean, you can never tell with them. I don't know. It's like we sing praises on them one week, then they prove us wrong. We talk about how, I think I said it for the last week, this is a team that can easily get bounced in the second round, and I'm kind of confident they might right now. And then they come out and win by 20 over South Carolina and nearly hang 100 points without one of arguably our team leader. So, I mean, I don't think anything's changed really over the last couple of weeks. It's like the problems just kind of shift. It's not really anything huge that you're concerned about, but it's always, hey, this has to be fixed. We're getting close now. So maybe the offense is clicked for good now. Maybe I'd rather have our offense humming like that and struggle a little bit defensively than vice versa. One, just because getting into with the football team, I mean, if we're going to lose, make it exciting at least. I mean, I'd rather lose 100 to 98 than one of those 52, 51 games. I mean, those are, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love good defense in any sport, but man, that's going 6.5 minutes without making shots it's not exactly, yeah, it's hard to watch. It's not exactly great television.
And we're at our best when we're making, we got assists, we're creating turnovers. That's when Tennessee basketball is at its best. And let your athletes get out and run. We're not used to having 2 freshmen that are projected lottery picks. I think Springer's projected 7th overall, and Keon Johnson's projected 9th overall right now. And, just use that. But at the same time, you have to have some production from your veterans. You absolutely have to have some production from your veterans. Fulkerson showed a little bit this last game, but between him and Pons and hopefully we get Josiah Jordan-James back next game. We the assist number. I think the assist numbers reflect your success. Absolutely. I'm a big Grizzlies fan, and when they have their best games, it's when the assist numbers are way up. And I think that's the key for this team is assist numbers. You got to help out your teammates. You gotta account for assists, and that's a big thing for this team. So.
Yeah, I mean, Murphy, D. Scott, y'all got anything that stood out to y'all? I mean, I watched. I missed the first quarter, so I still got to watch most of the game, but it kind of more the same to me, honestly. I mean, it's just we've seen it before, and then times we wish we could see it. Anything stand out to y'all?
Yeah, I think you guys covered it. It's just inconsistencies for me. One night it's real good defense, inconsistent offense, and last night it was kind of the opposite. So I like got from Bailey. I think one of y'all mentioned it in the group chat. Victor Bailey Jr. is a guy you want to like, but you just kind of have a hard time liking him because he's so daggum inconsistent.
Yeah.
I feel the same exact way about him. When he's on like he was last night, he's shooting the lights out of the gym. You can put 100 points plus up on the board as a team if you've got everybody else cooking. But he's one of those guys that has to find his shot, and when he's trying to find it and he's not hitting it, he's a liability. So you guys covered most of it. Got to be more consistent on both sides. Put together complete games rather than one side of the ball is the other side's inconsistent. It's got to meet somewhere in the middle if they're going to make a deep run.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up that point. I think that was my text that I sent. When I watch him, honestly, it feels like it's not nearly to the same level yet, just mainly because he hasn't been around. I haven't watched him play as much, but it feels like I'm watching 2018 Jarrett Garantano. It's like he'll do just enough to where you're like, man, I want him to do good. I want to like him, and then he'll just do something so boneheaded. He'll miss a wide open layup. He'll throw up a three that just I don't know what the little, and again, not a basketball guy, so maybe I'm speaking completely out of term here, but the little move that he does where he's behind the 3-point line, takes a couple dribbles up into the defender. I don't know. It's like he's trying to draw a foul almost, but I know I've seen him do it several times. It's like he's behind the 3-point line. He takes a couple dribbles up right in the defender's face, then raises up to shoot. It's like he's trying to get fouled, but his shot is naturally falling back. Like when he shoots, it's always like he's got just a slight fade away. So I don't know what the move is. I don't think he's made one all year doing that. I know Rick Barnes, if I'm seeing it like that, now, not a basketball guy, maybe it's something that he's being taught, like to try to draw a foul, but it just, every time I see it, I'm like, you passed up the slightly contested three for the 100% contested jump shot to maybe get a foul. I don't know. If I'm completely wrong, if y'all know an answer to that's actually strategy, to me, it doesn't make any sense. That's the one thing I don't know. I love him. When he's on like last night, I mean, he might be the most fun player to watch besides Keon to me or Jaden. I mean, but his shot's pretty, but I just don't understand that one little move. Not to dog on him. I mean, he dropped 29 last night. I mean, he was on fire for 99% of the game, but I don't know. That's the one thing. I hope he's rolling for good now. Because if he's rolling, he does give you something. Vescovi does it. I mean,
he gives you athleticism, and he gives you, a dead by three. So, Vescovi can give you the 3-point percentage, but he can't give you that athleticism. And we'd all love for Kenny Chandler to be on this team right now, but we got to figure out our point guard position, and it's between those two guys right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we said before. Before we move on from basketball, we talked percentages last show. Percentage chance, now I know what the answer is going to be already. I'm just dreaming right now. Percentage chance that Keon and Jaden say, hey, let's pass up that NBA money and play with Kennedy Chandler next year. I'd put
not good. I think it's better for Josiah Jordan James to stay than them two.
What's slightly above 0.000%? Is it just?
Yep.
I guess how specific you want to get into it.
0.0000001.
Yeah, all your decimals there. Just imagine. I guess more than the chances of it happening, just imagine if it would happen. That would.
My thing is, though, you got to look at it as a positive. It's definitely a positive. It's Rick Barnes establishing himself as top-notch recruiter again, getting the absolute best talent in the country, and getting talent that people like Calipari just overlooked. And it's not a bad thing in my opinion. It absolutely lets the best players in this country know that Tennessee is a player. And we're established and we're gonna be here for a while. So, it's absolutely something that I think is a good thing.
I wonder if Calipari wishes he would have offered Springer and Keon now.
Oh, I don't think he thinks about that every night, I think.
I'd say he's still seeing their 50 points in his freaking nightmares.
I hope he does again this week. I hope he sees 60 then.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, that's all I had on basketball. If you want to, we can get into the defensive staff here. That's what we were saying before the show. Right when we went live, I think all of our locks hit from the previous week about defensive staff being in place. I mean, we'll get into it, but depending on how Tim Banks wants to shape his offense, you're missing 1 to 2 spots, maybe, just depending on that. We'll give a run through, and A to Z Sports in Nashville, they had a very good breakdown of what they thought the staff would look like. I know I read that article. I've got it pulled up right here, so shout out to them. But they hit on Willie Martinez, which I think was kind of known. Well, we'll start. Rodney Garner, the obvious. We covered that last show. Massive. I mean, one of the best hires. Best hire you could have made for any position on this staff. It seemed like it was inevitable for a while, but as we know, anything this color is never inevitable until it's dry on ink on paper then. But Rodney Garner official now. Tim Banks, the new defensive coordinator, co-defensive coordinator, safeties coach from Penn State. He's been coaching for, experienced. I know that. I know it was at least like 15 years, something close to that. Been at Cincinnati previously, Central Michigan, Illinois. So, to me, we'll talk about that first before we get into the rest of the staff. To me, it was kind of an outside. I'd seen Tim Banks' name. I think maybe on VolQuest was somewhere I saw it on that they had referenced it. But I just didn't know much about him. Upon seeing him, reading up more up on him, I think like every other hire, it's gonna be wait to see, and I'll get y'all's opinion. But I'm excited at least. It seems like his below average defenses have been better than we have been under the supposed mastermind of defense, Jeremy Pruitt. So, at his floor, if we're any better, we talked about it before, just a couple stops a game if our offense is something like it's supposed to. So that was my reaction. Didn't really know as much about him as some of the rumored candidates, but I think we could have done a lot worse.
I think, in his press conference, Heupel talked about, on offense, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to push the ball down the field and blah, blah, blah. And he said on defense, we're going to be aggressive, try to force a bunch of turnovers. And, we talked about it when Heupel got the job about the quarterback situation. Who's the best fit? And, he obviously didn't go for the big name here with this hire because we have Kevin Steele on our payroll. That would have been the big name. But he went for the best fit. And, we talked about it. Fit's better than a big name, in my opinion. It really is. If you get a guy that's here, if the guys like him, they're going to buy into what he's doing, by all means, to go get him. Now, I agree with you also, D. Taylor. It's going to be wait and see. It's a big time wait and see, but I'm also excited because it seems like he's got a pretty good resume. People talk pretty highly about him. So I'm excited to see what he does with the team, and I'm glad they got him in, for the spring. Let him build the relationships with these guys. So I don't know. I'm excited.
I agree, Sawyer. I think that this staff recognizes that SEC experience is important, and Rodney Gardner, Willie Martinez, all those type of guys have years and years of SEC experience, and that shows me that the staff is in tune with what's important for this team, and that's SEC experience. And it's recruiting wise, it's coaching wise, but they've been here, they've been in this conference, and they know what they need to do once they get here. And it's a good mixture of UCF and this conference. So I like it a lot. I really do.
I think I was kind of the same. Like, I didn't really know much about him. But then, after kind of doing a little research, he does seem like he's pretty aggressive with his defense. I think that's something we kind of need right now. I think in recent years, we've played it safe on both offense and defense. And on defense, they're just going to gash us if we keep doing that. So I think having somebody that's going to be aggressive with it and, use all these athletes we got coming in, we can lock down some of these SEC defense and stop letting everybody put 40 and 50 up on us. So we'll see. Like Kel said, we'll just have to wait and see how it turns out. So
yeah, and hey, I'll take it. I won't take it that far. I don't care if we're getting 40 and 50 put up on us, as long as if it's 50, we get 51. I mean, that's
true.
That's all I care about. Today, I mean, nowadays, defense being a secondary priority anyway, hey, just have more points than the other guy when the game's over.
That's true.
And that's an option now. That wasn't an option with past coaching staff. We have a chance to put up 40 or 50 points now, and it's very exciting. If you lose and put up 50, so be it. But you give yourself a chance every time when you put up that many points.
Murph, man, what was your thoughts?
I was like you. I'd seen his name kind of pop up around some of the others. Again, it kind of fits the trend of the coaching staff on the offensive side. It's like you got to wait and see what happens. I want to see how spring practice goes. He's got to hit the ground running, get to know this roster, get to know where guys fit, figure out how he wants to, set up the defense, whether they're going to be 3-4, 4-3, that's on whether you get two linebacker coaches or just one. I'll be interested to see where they go with that and who they put in that position. I like the addition of Martinez. But yeah, first thing he's got to do is get to know this roster, get to know where guys fit, what he wants to do, and then start getting to know him, build relationships, and get out on the practice field and get this thing going, because they got a lot of ground to make up and got a lot of things to clean up. So there's potential there, but again, we got to see him on the field in game time. So
yeah, I mean I go back to the point we made. I mean, I think it was a couple of episodes now when the staff wasn't really. It was after Heupel, I know that, but it was when we had the names popping up in every direction of all coordinators, position coaches, recruiting, everything like that. It was kind of my main point then. I'm glad to see that it's happening. I think I had said something about the names, because Kevin Steele has been floated out a lot. The names are important because you become a big name by having success. I mean, that's 1 + 1 = 2. I mean, it's just the way it is. But to me, honestly, it may have been right after the old Al Washington thing happened. Was I want guys that are going to be here, and to me personally, I want younger guys that haven't made a name for themselves necessarily. I mean, obviously, you're coaching SEC football to a place like Tennessee. Obviously, you've made a name for yourself, but not where you're like Brent Venables of the world, where he's rumored every coaching cycle to go here, and
every time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I'm glad to see. I mean, is our oldest staff member right now Rodney Garner?
Yeah,
I think he is, and Garner's not even as old as I thought he was. I want to say he's like mid-50s. I mean, he looks older to me, but coaching, I'm sure that takes a toll on you after a while.
Let's see.
But he has that reputation. He has that
right
stock in the SEC.
I'm glad that we're getting a couple guys like that can mentor the other guys, but I'm glad to see the guys like Joey Halsley, Alex Gillish, that are younger guys that have had success like this, but they're still hungry to make a name for themselves. So that's been my main take on the whole coaching situation so far is, I mean, if you're trying to give a grade on it of the hire on, or you're trying to give predictions, I mean, you're just throwing stuff out because it's like we've said, wait and see. It's like Murphy just said, wait and see. I mean, we're not going to know until we know. Until it's happening every Saturday this fall, we're not going to know. So to me, I'm glad that we've seemed to kind of rejuvenated the players' energies with some younger guys, some younger coaches. I mean, I know Cody Burns mentions it in his press conference the other day about the fact that he's a younger guy, so he can probably relate to the players more than the guys like a Rodney Garner can. Now, Garner's an amazing coach on the field, but it's good to see that we're getting guys like Burns too that are good in the locker room, are good in a classroom situation. I mean, you're not handling much of that when you're a coach at this level, but just somebody to be in the player's ear that's been there recently. I mean, he wasn't on that Auburn team with Cam Newton when they won the Natty?
Yep, Cody Burns was.
Yeah. So I mean, you hear coach and you think, but then you see Cam Newton still starting NFL quarterback, so that kind of puts it in terms. But I don't know. I'm excited. I mean, it's the best word. I mean, it's like I said. I think if you're trying to put predictions out, put grades on this hire, you're just giving your best guess. Because it's like I said, we're not going to know until we know. But in the rest of the staff, we mentioned already Willie Martinez, another guy that's got a lot of experience. Some people seem to have mixed feelings about it, but my main thing is, didn't he develop Cam Sutton?
Yeah.
That's NFL player right now. Cam Sutton was always solid here. I mean, Emmanuel Mosley was – he had his ups and downs here for sure. I mean, I'm a big Mosley guy.
Yeah, he blossomed once he got to the league.
Yeah, I mean, it was inevitable. He came in 110 pounds soaking wet. So, I mean, it's hard. He could be the best athlete in the world, but 110 pounds, you play in the SEC. I mean, I remember the first time I saw him, I was like, that's a water boy there. And he's putting on pads. So, RIP. I hope he doesn't get killed out there. But, I mean, he's in a Super Bowl not too long ago. So, I think – and I think they brought it up on more important issues I was listening to the other day, right when Willie Martinez hired broke. I think that's what Caleb said is a lot of people probably have a bad taste in their mouth on Willie Martinez just because he was here with Butch Jones. So he could have been the greatest coach ever. And
I mean, if people are going to go on that, though, Tim Banks was with Butch Jones at Cincinnati and Central Michigan. So,
right.
I mean, they can't stem just off that.
You can't have it both ways, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think if Heupel thinks he's the right guy, then he's the right guy. I think Heupel seems definitely like he's for his players and their well-being. I know personally, I think that culture is just as important as strategy. You know, you need to have people in there that are going to make your players feel comfortable, but they still know what they're doing. Because when they're relaxed, that's when they're going to be balling. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think people can get upset about that because he was Butch Jones. I mean, you can look back. How many coaches that are great coaches right now, you just forgot that they were with some, asshole at some point in their career. You know what I'm saying? Like they're their own coach.
Nick Saban was a coach on the staff with Butch Jones.
See, exactly. I mean, technically, yeah, They are associated. So
I mean, Steve Sarkisian, Texas is done for if that's the case.
yeah,
I mean, so Najee Harris is going to have a terrible NFL career if that's the case, because
yeah.
God
I wouldn't
knows
bet
that
on
every time you see Najee Harris on the sideline, Butch is whispering sweet nothings into his ear.
Oh my gosh.
I'll give Butch Jones credit. All right, this is my only time I'm giving him credit right here. That dude can find the camera.
Yeah, you
Dear
can.
God, can he find the camera? I mean, watching Alabama be that good, I mean, I'm used to it now, so it doesn't pain me the way it used to. But I do appreciate tuning in to watch excellence like that. I mean, it's like a favorite player. Everybody's favorite player. You don't really like him as much. I'm not a LeBron guy. I hate LeBron. I know Sawyer's not either from our text message chain. I could tell. Not a LeBron guy, but I do enjoy watching him play basketball. I mean,
Oh yeah, I mean,
Watching him flop.
it's some of the stuff between after the whistle, off the court that he's always involved in something. I mean, it's just I won't get off into that, but I love watching the dude play basketball. I mean, it comes to a certain point where not liking the guy and respecting the guy are completely different things. My GOAT is always
Brady.
MJ.
Brady.
Yeah. I mean, I love Peyton Manning, but Tom Brady, I mean,
I hate him, but you gotta respect him.
yeah. I mean,
Yep.
to be this old, I mean,
Exactly.
you saw it with Drew Brees this year. That I mean, is Drew Brees younger than Tom Brady, or are they right at the same age?
They're right at the same, I think. Roughly, yeah. They're, I mean,
Okay.
couple years.
And Tom Brady is, I mean, we saw it with Peyton his last year. It pains me to say it, but Peyton didn't win that Super Bowl for the Broncos. Von Miller and that defense won that Super Bowl. I mean, that was Peyton struggled like Drew Brees to get it more than 15 yards down the field. So I respect that about Tom Brady, the fact that he's, what is he, 44, 43?
Yeah.
He's like 43 and a half, something like that.
He's still, I mean,
he can still
back to my original point. I don't know how I got off on that, but my hatred for LeBron always takes over. But
Thank you.
You tune in to watch excellence like that with Alabama, and I'm fine watching it now. I've accepted it that every year they're there. They're in the big games. They're in the prime time. But why do they have to just pan to the sideline all the time after a big Najee Harris run and Butch looks out of wind because he just ran over to make sure he was in frame there? I mean,
why does LeBron have to flop all over the court?
Yeah, I mean, it's all the little extra stuff that Butch knows what he's doing. Butch isn't a moron. I mean, he may have had selective intelligence while he was coaching our guys. I mean, that's pretty obvious, but
he's the champion of life. Get off his back.
Exactly. Hey, if I'm a champion of life, I want some screen time too. I want to be known. I don't blame him. Maybe this is a Butch Jones appreciation podcast, and it'll probably be our last podcast if that gets out. But
yeah,
hey.
Yeah, no.
Hey, I do know one thing. There's no other personal assistant to a head coach in the NCAA that gets more screen time than Butch Jones.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah,
If
the
anybody,
most televised secretary in the NCAA football.
Just to make your point, anybody who's another assistant to a head coach in college football? Crickets.
Dwight Schrute would be proud.
Yeah, Dwight Schrute's the only other one in that position that I know of. Glorified coffee boy. I'm sure he parks his car, valet. So I don't know. I mean, it's just who knows. So back to the main thing. I won't get caught up in names. I like the young, hungry coaches like that. Murphy, I don't know if did I get Murphy's opinion already? I like to get Murphy Schefter involved on it. Murphy, you got to watch Murphy. He'll sit there too quiet if you don't get him involved.
No, I'll tell you. I'll give you one coach I'm super excited about. We'll stick offensively for this one. And I have to give him an apology because I called him the incorrect last name because his name just looks so funky. Halsley is how you say it. It's not Hazel. I was saying Hazel last week.
I did too. Yeah, I heard it in the press conference. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence that he called out our softer quarterbacks of the past at all.
Right. Yes. To him in the press conference was my favorite part. I'm big on watching quarterbacks and listening to him talk about how they're going to let you rip it, and they're not going to you feel afraid to make mistakes. That is what stuck out most for me personally when watching the coaches speak yesterday. Because you watch it the previous years, it always even last year with Bailey at times, it just kind of looked like he was afraid to make a certain throw because he was afraid he was going to throw the wrong pass and it would get picked or something like that. And you can't play like that. It's not gonna bode well. So for him to say something like that, and I'm sure the quarterbacks in the quarterback room at Tennessee currently have heard this. I'm sure Ty Simpson has heard this. Other guys that were recruiting in the 22 class and beyond that have heard that. That has to be appealing as a quarterback and as a receiver, because that plays into your hand as well. So Halsley is a guy I think initially wasn't somebody who I was like, oh, that's a cool hire. But after listening to him talk, I'm super excited to be working with the quarterbacks along with a guy like Heupel who has that track record. So, but I did want to get y'all's take on, and I don't know if y'all saw this, but speaking of former coaches at Tennessee ending up at Alabama, Jay Graham was popular topic on Twitter this week, where he got in and made a reply to somebody. They were talking about how many days it's been since Alabama had Tennessee. I just wanted to get y'all's opinion on it, how you kind of see Jay Graham now. Does that taint his legacy a little bit? Do you maybe look at the term a little bit differently now? I just wanted to see what y'all thought about that.
I mean, isn't he kind of roasting himself by doing that? Because
that was my main thing.
I don't think it was to get to a reaction, honestly, and he got a reaction. So,
I mean, he was on 2 or 3 different staffs that lost to Alabama during that losing streak. So, good job, dude. You just roasted yourself a little bit, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're really a ball for life, quote unquote, then you're not going to put that stuff out there. But I don't know. That's just me, my opinion.
That's why I like to get Murphy involved. I love giving Murphy crap, just like I love giving D. Scott crap about the Eagles. It just makes it fun. But did he even hear me?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, look at him. Yeah, look at him. All right. Yeah, we get it. You stumbled your way into a Super Bowl.
I got the stadium from that too up there. Nice little stadium.
That's pretty
look at him.
That's right.
But anyway, that's why I love Murphy is always, when I forget something that happens, Murphy's always the one that reminds. Like, he's always the one that when he says something, I'm like, yeah, I forgot about that. That was one of my main points, because
we don't call him nothing.
Yeah, Murphy Schefter. I don't ever have enough time to write something down. If I did, I'd be so organized, but I was rushing tonight anyway. But I'll go to your first point there about before the Jay Graham stuff, because that'll make me mad. Just like Sawyer was shaking his head a minute ago. That's about my reaction. Sawyer pretty much summed it up. But I'll go to your first point you made there about Halsley. Was when I heard the phrase "rip it," was that won the press conference for me. I think I said it on the last episode, Cody Burns was the big hire for me, and I'm still excited about Cody Burns. I think he'll be solid here. But when I heard that one, that really kind of won me over with him. Now he's still got to produce, like we said, but he's done it before. I mean, Sam Bradford, Dillon Gabriel, obviously. I mean, this staff's got a lot of old quarterbacks that have had success, and Halsley's had, I mean, I think they've been together 13 years now, was what they said, him and Heupel. So, I mean, all the quarterbacks over the year. But just the phrase, just let them rip it, just kind of give them what they need to succeed and let them go, was the general idea from what he said. That won the press conference. Because how many times, and this was my original thought, and I just thought of it when you said it there, how many times over the last since – honestly, you could probably go back to when Tyler Bray was here, because when even Butch was here, it was never, you never heard anything like let them rip it. It's ever since then, it's always been
brick by brick.
That stuff, like, yeah, the corny stuff like that. But it's always,
you didn't have a quarterback. As much as we love Dobbs, you didn't have a quarterback that could throw it, 40 times a game.
Yeah, it's always the terms though that it's the game manager. Like, see the guy that can put us in this best position, which that's all good. But that was the main thing I liked what you said there, was when he came out and just said, let him rip it like that. I couldn't say it. I couldn't be more excited about what he's going to do after hearing that, because it's just such a different term than what we've heard before. I mean, sure, you need a quarterback that's a good game manager, but that's every college. I mean, that's high school football. You need a guy that's not going to screw the game up. Now, it doesn't matter how many times you say it, because these last couple of years, we've got a guy that does the exact opposite of that and actively scores for the other team. So it was just that little thing that was 4 words, let them rip it, that to me won the whole press conference. So that's why Murphy Schefter always gets me back on track. That was one of my main points, and I just forgot it then. Going to your second point, though, I mean, about Jay Graham, I mean, I think everybody kind of has the same take. The graphic he put out first about like the McKinstry, the corner for them, and all the, Alabama's produced this and this last year's, that doesn't bother me. I mean, I don't like seeing in Alabama, but you see that everywhere. That's their job, really, is to promote what the staff has done, even though he has no part in it. But I mean, guys at Tennessee have done that before. I mean, I think Jeremy Pruitt, when he first got hired, the Tennessee football account was posting all the NFL players. And it's like, well, yeah, that's good and great, but let's get one at Tennessee first. So I understand that part of it. I have no problem with that. But yeah, like Sawyer said, I mean, the little dig at the end when you're supposed to be a Vol for life. That's what I thought. He's a legend for Tennessee. But that second shot is just so unnecessary when you had a chance on 2, like Sawyer said, I think it's 2 previous, possibly a third staff to end the streak. You couldn't do it. That's the first thing. So, I mean, that's like commenting on a tree standing up over there and you're holding an axe while you just took a couple swings at it and you're complaining the tree's not down. Like, look at yourself, buddy. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about there. The second thing is, yeah, I mean, you've had the chance to do it and you have no part in it. Like, you have no part in the 5,600 days, something like that, since it's been. You've done nothing.
He hasn't coached a game.
Yeah.
He's done nothing for the University of Alabama yet. And he's sitting there talking about, nope, I'm stopping myself. Don't get me started. I might go on a rant.
It shows you where allegiances lie. It shows you really does. And, money rules all. And, that contract that he got apparently has allowed him to burn some bridges, let's just say.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like D. Taylor said. He was a Tennessee legend for his playing days and everything, but I think to a lot of people, he just threw that right out the window.
I'm one of those people.
And 5,600 days, something like that, whatever it was, and you've been there, 10 maybe? And you're in a dead period right now, so congrats,
he gets
man.
In trouble everywhere he goes coaching, so. But I'm sure that nothing will happen to him in T-Town or whatever.
Yeah, you're a special teams coordinator. You're not the head coach. You're not the offensive coordinator. You're not the defensive coordinator. You're not the special assistant to the head coach. That I wonder if Alabama's going to fill that position, or if that was D. Scott's assistant to the assistant regional manager. That
exactly.
You can't have a good hand without a good arm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, are they going to just?
These people didn't even really want you, except for a menial position. So
are they going to make a statue? Yeah,
he was an intern, wasn't he?
They've made a statue on campus of his pencil holder. That's going to be the Butch Jones. They're going to retire that office with just everything in it.
I thought they put him
as
on
he left it.
I thought they put him with the Saban statue. He was like shining his shoes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down on his knee.
That's his job now, to sign the Saban statue's shoes.
We went from glorifying Butch Jones to making fun of him, so we're back on track. I know we're the ship always finds the North Star. We're back. So, I mean, that was, I don't know.
Butch Jones always finds the champion for life.
To what?
I said Bush Jones always finds the champions of life.
Yeah. Arkansas State's going. They're the champions of life. If that's going to be churning out, watch out, boys. We're in trouble. So
Their AD's already
who
leaving.
knows?
He hired Butch Jones, and then
Yeah,
later their AD said, "I got to get away from this guy."
he went down to Orlando and hired Gus Malzahn. So yeah, I mean, who knows? But yeah, to answer your question, long-winded there, Murph. Yeah, mine was me personally. I think everybody's in here on Twitter, online was probably the same. I mean, some people were mad about the first graphic, but if you know anything about recruiting, about college football, I mean, you know you don't like to see it, but it's going to happen. Like, that's his job. The second part, that's not his job. He knew what he was doing. And I think it was Caleb or Landon that brought it up. Saban didn't like that.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Saban's not a social media. Yeah, rat poison. I mean, he coined the term rat poison. And now you've got of all places, your special teams coordinator out there creating that kind of garbage. So I don't know. I mean, I'll wrap it up there before I go on another tangent.
Sorry to get y'all riled up.
Started now. Man, sorry. Man, every time I look at Sawyer, he's just shaking his head.
I can't help it. I'm trying to put it back.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, yeah, he's burned his bridge. I know that for sure. I mean,
let's just talk about the baseballs before.
Yeah, let's move to baseball. Defensive staff. You've got linebacker coach is open apparently. If Kevin Steele hasn't duct taped himself to the chair and refuses to leave now, whatever situation's going on there. So I don't know. Do we have one inside linebackers coach and an outside linebackers coach? Do we just have a linebackers coach? You've got special teams coordinator that apparently Jay Graham was too good for. I don't know, but you've got a couple left. But with Willie Martinez, Rodney Garner, Tim Banks, you've got the general idea. I know John Janchek, the former defensive coordinator from 2013 to 2015, I think. He's been floated around. He's an analyst at Georgia right now as the inside backers coach. I've seen as much smoke on that as I did with Willie Martinez. So to me, it kind of seems like that's going to happen. I don't know, but I've seen a lot of stuff on that. If they go outside linebackers coach, I know that was the A to Z article I referenced earlier. Joe, I don't know how you say his, it's Ludig. Ludig, I guess his last name, was rumored to be coming from Penn State as the outside backers coach and special teams coordinator. I know that's what that article said. He has experience doing that. I mean, I wouldn't have any really hot takes on that hire. I mean, it's kind of been rumored for a little bit. If it does happen, if it doesn't happen, if it's Kevin Simon, if it's Kevin Steele, at this point, I mean, just kind of get somebody there don't rush it, but get somebody there that's going to do a solid job. Whoever it is, I mean, my opinion, we're paying Kevin Steele to do essentially nothing right now. Like I said, he's probably duct taped to a chair somewhere. Fine. I mean, okay. Got it. Special assistant to Josh Heupel is Kevin Steele. There you go. He'll be a head coach in no time. I guess, anybody ask now, we just created that position for him. Promoted out there. He's special assistant to the head coach. He's honorary Butch Jones. We'll go with that. I'm sure.
Honorary Butch Jones. Yeah.
I'm sure I'd be proud to get that title. I know y'all would too.
I don't want Butch Jones's name anywhere near my title.
No.
So good they had to retire him. They retired it permanently.
That's what we'll go with.
I don't know. But yeah, that kind of rounds out the staff. I didn't have anything else specific. Well, before we go to baseball, Ty Simpson, Murphy mentioned it earlier, that brought it up. Delayed his announcement a week. To me, it seemed like it was just because of the weather. I mean, I know it's really – I didn't realize today was Thursday till y'all started talking about the show earlier today. Honestly, I was without power for close to 48 hours. So it was a long couple of days. Yeah, I got it back on yesterday. Yesterday would have been Wednesday at like lunch. So it's been a lot warmer ever since then. A lot less
Yep.
boring. I literally played chess against myself, just trying to create a tie.
Did you win?
I beat myself, which is not what you want to do. If you're playing yourself, I would think you'd want to get a tie, just
So I was
because.
about to say, did you tie since you won and lost?
No, I
Or
was the black
is that like a
team, and
draw?
I did beat the white pieces, so it's a win. But I knew my own moves and I knew my opponent's moves. That's how bored I was. Yeah, you're shaking your head. That's how bored I was. That's what 48 hours without, because you can't use your phone. Every time my phone battery get low, I'd have to go out to my car, turn my car on, wait 10 minutes, sitting there freezing because it's 15 degrees and there's
Yep.
snow and ice everywhere just to charge my phone. So you have to get creative. Did a lot of sleeping, but yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
we haven't had less than 15 inches of snow here in the last 5 days. It's insane.
apparently there's another movement coming through right now. I haven't heard any of it yet, but
Yeah.
I think the snow's still all. I think we got close to 6 inches here in the mid state, but
But
uh,
go ahead, brother.
no, go ahead. I was just gonna get Tom Simpson.
Okay, well I gotta cut out, y'all. I'll see y'all next week, but I gotta cut out. And I love you, brothers, and I'll see y'all next week.
Hey,
See
we'll
you,
miss
man.
you.
Have a
Good
good
night.
one. But yeah, I mean, Ty Simpson seemed like it was just because of the weather. I mean, I know he's out there in Martin, Tennessee. I know close. Is that close to your stomping ground, Sawyer?
It's about 2.5. Yeah, about 2.5, 3 hours or so from Waynesboro.
Oh, okay.
We're in West Tennessee.
That's further than I thought it was. I thought it was closer to you, but yeah, I mean, it seems like he just delayed it a week, couldn't get into school. Doesn't seem like there was any seismic shift in who the favorite is, anything. I mean, I think Mother Nature, I don't think it hurt us any bit. I mean, another week that Josh Heupel and Joey Halsley and Alex Golish can talk to him. I mean, I don't think that's going to hurt, but we'll get into percentages on it. I'm more confident since listening to this interview with 104.5 the other day. I'm way more confident now, mainly because I'll give my first thing. He slipped up at the beginning of the interview saying something about the SEC, something about the guys in the SEC running from, I don't know. There was an SEC quote at the beginning. And me and Murphy, I know, have really come down to Tennessee Clemson. I'll get where y'all two are at, but I know Ole Miss would not surprise me at all. I'll go ahead and get that out there. I'll elaborate in a second. Ole Miss wouldn't surprise me at all. He spoke very highly of Ole Miss. Do I think it'll happen? No, but I think it's still Tennessee Clemson. But his comments on there, and he even sounds like a Tennessee boy. I mean, he's got the accent, he's got the slang. It'd be a shame for him to end up at Clemson, but that's my take on it. I think the last time we gave percents, I was 60-40 maybe. I'd lean more 70-30 now, but I'll get y'all's take on it.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at the interview, I mean, you've got to think that Tennessee's in the lead, clearly. And then it's Clemson, and then you don't really know of anybody else. But I am like you, D. Taylor. I could see him going to Ole Miss just because Kiffin's there, the style of offense they run. I mean, they probably averaged like what 35, 40 a game this year. I mean, why
At
wouldn't
least
you want to
35
go?
probably.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? Why would you not want to go play for Lane Kiffin right now? Because he's got all the momentum in the world. He's recruiting well. He scores points, but I'd say if I had to put a percentage on it of whether or not he comes to Tennessee, I'll say there's a 65% chance that Ty Simpson comes to Tennessee. So 65-35.
I like it.
Okay. We got 70-30, 65-35.
D. Scott, I'll let you go ahead.
I think it's definitely shifting towards Tennessee. I would say as far as percentages go, and the only reason I'm not going to elaborate on everything is because y'all have said everything. So I don't really think people are going to want to hear it over and over. But I'll go 60, 30, 10. 60 us, 30 Clemson, and 10 Ole Miss.
I like that.
I like it.
I'll give Ole Miss a little bit.
I heard an interesting take on Ty Simpson's recruitment, and it was Josh Heupel was clearly reaching out to him every single day, phone calls, Zoom meetings, whatever, with the other coaches, Halsley, Golish. You're not getting that probably from Alabama and Clemson. I don't think Nick Saban's sitting down every single day talking to Ty Simpson on the phone saying, hey, man, we want you to come do this, do that. Dabo Sweeney's not sitting down on the phone talking to Ty Simpson every single day.
That's a good point.
Maybe Bill O'Brien from Alabama, Tony Elliott, Clemson, maybe those guys, maybe your quarterback coaches. I don't know those two schools' quarterback coaches off the top of my head, but
no chance Bill O'Brien is calling him every day. That dude has such an ego.
Maybe every other day then. But main point is you've got the head coach at Tennessee where his heart has always been at talking to you every single day, offensive guy. We've talked about it. It makes the most sense for me for him to end up there. If I had to give a percentage, I'm right with D. Taylor. I'm 70-30, 70 Tennessee, 30 Clemson. I agree. Ole Miss makes sense. I just don't think to tie that Ole Miss makes as much sense as the other two schools, even Alabama. I think Alabama makes more sense to him than Ole Miss does. But I'll go 70-30. I feel better every single day that passes and you see new Ty Simpson quotes and new interviews and stuff. Everything that he's done recently makes you feel like Tennessee is at least in contention seriously. So
I agree with everything except the Alabama point. I'll go the opposite way there. I think Ole Miss makes more sense to him than Bama. Now, I have no grounds of standing on that to say it's true, but I don't know. Just the way he talked about Ole Miss. Ole Miss is probably closer for him than Tennessee is, honestly. Out in West Tennessee that far, I know it ain't much farther if it is farther. So I don't know. Ole Miss, just the way he talked, which recruits talk about teams all the time, different ways, but the way he talked about Ole Miss, I don't know. It wouldn't shock me. It would shock me, but it wouldn't. I think I'd be more shocked if he went to Bama, honestly, than Ole Miss. I guess it's my kind of – I disagree with you on that one part, but just to give some flavor to the show, I guess, just to create a different viewpoint.
Good stuff.
Murphy, I know that's why I love to give him crap about being quiet all the time.
I want to start
he's really just chilling.
Carlton fan club.
Murphy's just chilling always.
Because
this is a Butch Jones and Murphy Carlton
silent but deadly one. Like he stays quiet, but when he speaks volumes.
I'm gonna get that on a shirt.
He's a prophet.
Yes. I'm gonna need you to design me a shirt, D. Scott.
I got you. I can do that.
I want to picture Murphy right here on my chest, and that quote: "I may be quiet, but when I speak loud."
I'm gonna get us all some T-shirts that just say Murphy, just black T-shirts says Murphy Prophet on the front.
Yes,
Murphy Prophet. I like it. we were right around at Ole Miss 39.2 points a game. So yeah, right on it there. I mean, to me, any offensive player, any quarterback, if it were me, I know Ole Miss would get serious consideration. My main thing with that, though, would be is Lane going to leave after a year, after the next year, after 2 years? Who knows with Lane?
But you can never tell. I don't know if there's a job appealing enough for him to leave from Ole Miss.
Right.
At this point,
I would think, because I don't think he's NFL. Kiffin is. No. I mean, I think he's tried that, and he's probably.
I feel like
maybe as a coordinator, something like that.
I feel like he wants to end at either Bama or Clemson.
I was gonna say Alabama.
Yeah, he's just waiting for Nick Saban to retire, and then he's gonna jump into that spot, or he's gonna compete with Dabo to jump into that spot.
Yeah, so I was gonna say him and Dabo will have who's better at tweeting and making TikToks contest to see. It's the Alabama job.
That's a good versus evil there. That's for sure.
Nick Saban will roll over in his grave when that happens.
Oh God, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's all I had on Ty. I'm more confident, but we just got another week now. So our locks of knowing where he was going to go by tonight, or they haven't lost, they're just pushed back. So I become more confident with every day, but you never know, and we won't know until he signs, obviously, because if he does commit and we come out and the Josh Heupel experience is the exact opposite of what's it's supposed to be, then Clemson come on down, Alabama come on down, Ole Miss come on down, because I doubt we keep him then. I think he's smart enough to know where he may like the most, may not make the most sense. It's the best way I'll wrap it up there, but we'll see. Baseball starts tomorrow. Georgia Southern start series tomorrow. Start the season tomorrow. Going to be a cold one. I know it will be here. I'm sure it'll be still a little chilly in Knoxville, but that's always the first month of baseball is always just unbearably cold, and then it becomes the best. It's the best temperature for any sport out there, besides maybe fall, when that September when college football starts, when it's not too hot, not too cold. But
it's the most wonderful time of the year. Like spring
it is.
training, pitchers and catchers are reporting, college baseball is starting soon. Real spring training will start, then professional, the MLB will start. Like, this is my Christmas. This is my opening day. Okay, let's get it out there. Opening day should be a national holiday.
It should.
Like, I will skip, and I will skip my college classes on opening day because it means that much to me. Go Braves.
Opening day. Yeah. Yes, sir. Go Braves.
Yes, sir.
Chop on. I'm hoping to go, hey, my great uncle's a season ticket holder. I'm hoping he can hook me up with some tickets to the Padres series in like July.
Fernando Tatis will buy tickets for you. He's got the money now. $340 million.
I still gotta pledge my allegiance to a team before the season starts.
Don't you do the Phillies? I swear to God.
I will kill you.
See,
I will kick you out.
Damn, sorry, that was so. Did you say kill? Are you okay?
We don't play when it comes to anything Philadelphia Phillies related.
So I mean, initially that's what I was saying, because I'm an Eagles fan. I'm always gonna be an Eagles fan, as hard as that is. But I don't know. I need somebody.
And it's weird. I don't hate the Eagles at all. I kind of like the Eagles. I think they got I might like their black uniforms the best out of any in the NFL. The black Eagles uniforms with the slot green, the helmet. I love the helmet too, the wings on it.
Yeah, I like the old.
I like the Eagles. I just love giving you crap about it.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a friend that's a Bears fan. I like the Bears too. The Bears, the Eagles, Titans are my favorite. The Colts were my childhood team when Peyton was there. So those two. But then the Bears and Eagles might be my next two favorites. But they're so bad, and they're just so – I see so much of Tennessee in them that I guess I'm kind of sympathetic, and that's what makes me like them. But the Phillies, no. The only good thing the Philadelphia Phillies have ever produced is the steak, the Philly cheesesteaks that they have at their ballpark. That's the only.
Bro, I'm telling you, I went up there in 2016 for an Eagles game. God, those cheesesteaks are so good, and they're
the only reason.
Huge.
It's the only reason you would find me in the Philadelphia Phillies stadium. The only reason. If on any other grounds, just shoot me on spot, because I've obviously gone mentally deranged and I'm just wandering around then. So just go ahead and take care of that for me.
So are all three of you Braves fans?
Lifelong.
All three. And then I would assume Keenan is too.
I think he's a Cardinals fan.
I think he is a Cardinals. Yeah, I think it's what he said before, which is almost just as bad.
As the Phillies.
Yeah, that's bad.
All right. I'm going to come out and say it now. I'm going to pledge my allegiance with the majority.
Okay, good. I thought you were about to say the Cardinals.
We'll be a Braves fan.
For the Braves country.
Right.
I need to order a hat and a T-shirt now so I can make it official.
Best jerseys in MLB. Best jerseys. The Sunday Reds or the Friday Reds, whatever they changed them to. The off-whites. The navies were so much better this year. The navies used to be just so ugly, but now with the red accents, I want one of those. I'd buy the navy.
I love the 70s, the throwback uniforms.
Yeah, with the lowercase a.
Yeah, the white and blue.
The Dale Murphys. Yeah.
Yes. Oh man, those I'd kill for one of those.
Let me pull this up, D. Scott. I'll show you the Navy jerseys, and you'll love them. I know you will.
I like the powder
I'm glad you
blue.
picked your allegiance.
Well, I mean, like I said, because I initially was gonna go with the Phillies because a couple years ago I was like, I need to get into baseball because I needed something to do in the off season. And my brother's a Braves fan. He always gave me crap, and then I just didn't stick with it. So I feel like it didn't really stick. So I'm like, I'm kind of a free agent right now because I didn't really buy into it all that much.
You're taking your talent.
Chop on, man.
Oh yeah, I'm getting in the transfer portal. So I'm declaring
We
for
will
the
accept.
transfer portal.
It sounds like we've saved a lost soul today, boys. That's what I'm hearing. We've converted him to the ways of Atlanta. Here, I'm gonna share the screen just to let you see this. Tell me you don't love those right there.
I do love. So my high school colors were Navy, so I like Navy regardless. But that's pretty nice. The red accent. That's
I
nice.
bet you like that
They're
price
slick.
tag too.
I like. I like the white. I like the white trim going down the chest, or going like
Yeah,
trimming the buttons.
they're so much better. So much better than the old ones.
Yeah.
Who
right.
does the baseball team open up with? Georgia Southern? Is that who it is?
Georgia Southern.
I was looking.
Yeah.
I got to renew my ESPN Plus thing tonight so I can watch
Me
these.
too.
Yeah, Georgia
I saw
Southern.
That was my main. That was my other thing. They've got 9 nationally televised games. That was the third most. I think the only 10 and 11 were the only other ones I saw, which were, I mean, Vanderbilt's going to get a lot of games.
I'd say Florida.
Florida's number 1 this year. Yeah, Florida's going to get a lot, the usual suspects, but picked third to finish behind those two. I know Blake Tidwell is starting one of the games, and I saw Murphy's tweet about that. Tidwell is who's starting Jackson Leith starting tomorrow, apparently. Jackson Leith was very exciting to watch last year. He's got awesome stuff. I think he's going to be a high draft pick by the time he leaves. I think he's only a sophomore this year. I could be wrong, but I think he's only a sophomore. But even as a freshman last year, you could tell I don't think we've got any Garrett Crochets out there just because that dude was a different. I mean, you can see he just skipped the minor leagues.
He's expected to be in the big league bullpen this year.
Yeah. I mean, you don't skip the minor leagues very often, especially skip the minor leagues, go right into the middle of a postseason hunt for Chicago and start the next year. So he's just going to skip the minor leagues entirely, but he was a different animal to watch. But our staff, the bats are going to be electric. I know they are. A little bit of talk was about the staff, but I think the staff will be just fine. They may take them a couple weeks to really get rolling and find who their established Friday, Saturday, Sunday starter is, but they've got plenty of options at least. I mean, it's no doubt about that.
And Leith is a senior. If what I read,
Leith is a senior.
Yeah, that's what it said. I thought he was a younger guy.
Yeah, I thought he was only a sophomore. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he didn't play as much his first 2 years. You always got to fact check me. I don't know. I got too many useless facts in my brain. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options. Even if, like I said, even if the first couple series, it's kind of mix and match to see who works best where. It's very excited. What are they, the 19th, 18th ranked right now?
I think
19th. So
depends on where you look.
Yeah. I think college baseball. I mean, you've got D1 rankings, you've got the Riders rankings, you've got.
There's everybody and their mama that puts out a ranking for college baseball.
In my official rankings, the DT official rankings, they're number 1, so that could help their average out a little bit. I just need somebody to publish my rankings. DT rankings. I guess I could publish my own rankings, Volunteer Roadshow. So yeah, officially published.
Officially have your own.
Y'all are the panel of voters. I'll get your take on every other team. We'll vote to see what the rest looks like, but I'll go ahead and call it now number 1 team. But in all seriousness, I think they're a top 10 team. I think they'll make it. I don't know that they're as good as last year's team just because that was going to be one of the teams that a program doesn't get very often. I mean, you could just tell they were next level, but I don't think there'll be that much of a drop, honestly. I mean, you got up to 5 preseason All-Americans. Pav behind the plate. Ferguson's won nearly every preseason award you can possibly win. He's solid. So, I mean, and it's not just that they're good, they're deep. They've got options everywhere. So, very excited about that. Y'all have anything else about baseball?
Yeah,
The Tidwell kid.
I'm shopping for hats.
Nice. The Tidwell kid, he went to Loretta High School, which is about 30, 40 minutes away from Waynesboro. I got to play against him for a year or two, something like that. And people in Knoxville, you have something to be excited about because he's a stud. His fastball moves probably a good 4 to 6 inches, got a lot of zip on it. He has a really hard biting slider. I mean, he's the hype, believe the hype. I'm telling you.
Is that the same high school Ryan Weathers was out of, the Padres pick?
I got to play. I played with and against the guy who's in the Padres system and playing baseball at Tennessee right now. So, out of the same high school, they I believe they were on the same state championship team back in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. It was 2017. It was my senior year. They won a state championship.
I remember that name, Ron Weathers, from that high school, and I remember we played a team in a tournament that had gotten their teeth kicked in by Loretto, and they kicked our teeth in, which wasn't saying much for our high school, but I mean, my goodness, if they were good enough to whip that team that made a mockery of us, then that Loretto's got to be
Loretta had about a 3 to 4 year stretch there because they had guys like Weathers, a dude named Jacob Laws, Jacob James. They could throw 3 freaking stud lefties at you, just one after the other. I mean, they were hard to hit, man. They were so hard to hit, and they were kind of like our basketball team. Their offense wasn't always there, but when it was, you couldn't beat them because they could shut you out, hold you to 1 or 2 runs. It was unreal.
Sounds like Tullahoma's high school. That's right next. That's 20 minutes where I'm at. That's where everything's located because my town is everything's closed after 5 p.m. So Tullahoma's the spot where you go. Tullahoma was ranked in the top 50 in high schools in the country for a while. That's where Justice Sheffield, the Sheffield brothers, Justice Sheffield's where he's from. I mean, that's the 2 biggest names I know of, which I think Jordan, his brother, he was with the Dodgers in their organization last time I checked. But Justice is big leagues now. I mean, I remember playing them in maybe middle school, something like that, where the mounds weren't the same length as high school was. So you had him up there 13 years old and he's already pumping 85 by then. And good luck. I mean, honest to God, just close your eyes and swing. You've got a better chance than actually trying to time him up. I mean, he was filthy then. He's filthy now. So Farragut High School was my other point. Farragut was ranked in the top 10 in the country, I think, here in Tennessee for high school teams. So I didn't know they were a juggernaut like that, but that's about as close of a pipeline as you can have to the baseballs right there for Tony Vitello to go down and flex his muscle, show his pearly white teeth, and take the players' mothers out to dinner, stuff like that. I mean, he's got a stomping grounds right there. Tony Vitello is going to get to work in Farragut. But that's all I had baseball. Anything else from y'all? That's it. Well, is there anything I'm missing? I think we covered everything. I don't think we missed anything. I mean, transfer portal hasn't changed really. Maybe we get Big Cat Bryant now. Maybe he stays in. Toa still the same with him. Cody Brown released from his NLI, but I mean that was coming. Dillon Brooks probably the next after that. I think they're trying to hold his as long as they can. I don't think there's anything menacing behind it. I think they're just trying to hold his as long as they can to get him as many conversations with the staff as possible because he's your number 1 player in your class. So, but nothing's changed with that. I'm acting as if he's still gone, but you never know. That was right. It's what you brought him in to do, which he might be too late to this point. I mean, wasn't Dillon Brooks' second team Auburn?
Yeah. Them and
And I mean,
Alabama were both pushing hard for him.
I don't know why Auburn is your team if it's not Rodney Garner. I don't know why Gus Malzahn, which I mean, I understand Pruitt a little more because he's a defensive guy, but I don't know why if Auburn's not it now. I don't know why it's because of Gus Malzahn's not there. I mean, if you told me Rodney Garner left, fine, but guess where he's at now, the school that you're currently signed to. So who knows with him? I don't know. Bama's there, so that would just make all in. If it broke right now that he committed to Alabama, I mean, that wouldn't surprise me at all. So I'm inevitably preparing for that. But those were the only names I really stuck out to me. I don't have any locks this week just because every bet I've placed lately is an L. So I am temporarily retiring until the next 10-team parlay. But I guess my lock of the week, I'll keep mine the same on Ty Simpson. Just delayed my lock for a week. Anybody feeling lucky with anything new? Anything that's piqued your interest?
Vols will be 3-0 after this weekend.
Baseballs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
Okay.
they should. I mean, it's Georgia Southern. I don't know if Georgia Southern being a powerhouse or anything, but
I don't think so.
3-0.
Not to my knowledge. Okay.
They played Georgia pretty well last year, I read, but shouldn't be too big of an issue.
We beat who? We
Hopefully
had some really
not.
big wins last year. We beat what? Who? Texas
Oh, yeah.
Tech?
Beat Texas Tech when they were number 1. Beat
Yeah.
Stanford.
Yeah, Stanford. That was another one.
ETSU wasn't really a awful team, I don't think, especially with that rivalry right there. I mean, those are always kind of tougher games, and we smacked them around. I mean, we were 15-2, I think, and one of the losses was to Wright State. It was a night where your pitching staff was good. It was terribly cold then, and it was probably 20 degrees, and I think we lost like 3-2, 2-1. So it was a pretty. If you're a fan of pitching, that was a great game for you to be at because it was just there weren't any big hits, anything like that. So, I mean, baseball, like I said, you play 60 games like that, you're going to lose to a team you're not supposed to. I mean, that's going to happen. This isn't college football losing to Georgia State, I think was my reference last week. But
more head shaking things.
Yeah, more head shaking things. If we don't have anything else, I'll end it before we have even more head shaking things. This has been a pretty positive show, so I don't want to end it on head shaking. But if there's nothing else, that's been episode 8. We're out. Thanks for checking in with us, boys, and go Vols.
Go Vols.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.